Also, Helen Mirren, I have a few of her clips too.
Yeah.
She's the first to stop people with the patronizing. So what can
Hmm.
happen? My husband used this on me just the other day. He said, "Okay, young lady." I go, "You know how I feel about that. I am
Tell
not a
us how
young
you
lady."
feel about that.
Well, one of my favorite stories, I was out to dinner with a bunch of folks, and a well-meaning man he was going around the room and, "What are you up to?" And everybody's sort of, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." And so then he looks at my friend Julie and says, "Okay, young lady, what are you up to?" And I go, "Ooh, teachable moment. Yay." I said, "John, I know you mean well, and you think that's a compliment, but it's actually patronizing. Julie is 55 years old. She's a queen, she's a goddess, she's Julie, but she's not a young lady. And she
Yeah. Love it.
deserves the designation of being her age, not young lady as a 20-year-old who's, we all know you're still figuring out you're a mess in your 20s. Let's face it."
Hello, hello. I have the most amazing Ande Lyons with us today, and she is the heroine for those of us who are 65 and over who are going, excuse the hell out of me, I'm not finished. What are you talking about? She has such a multifaceted background. She has such an intensely fierce, feminine heart. She is rebellious with a smile and a welcoming way of being. I think the world of her. I just met her a few weeks ago, really, but I'm already a big fan. So welcome, Ande. Yay, yay, yay.
Thank you so much for having me, Lori. I'm looking forward to a delicious conversation with you.
All about the conversation. And I really want to just dive right in. Um, you have started a movement, basically, just like I have. I mean, we're into going, let's break this nonsensical cube farm sort of mentality. What is it? What is the main message of what you're wanting older women to hear? What's that pithy thing?
Oh, God, I've got a few pithy things.
Hit me with all of it.
As you age, don't shrink away. Take center stage. And of course, pastures are for horses, not people. But most importantly, do not be afraid to be the oldest person in the room. This is so important. It is key to dissolving ageism is to keep showing up everywhere with all the generations, with all the ages represented in the room. Because the more we're out there showing our glow and sharing our stories and our brilliance and our light, it shifts the age related expectations and stereotypes for older people and especially older women. I am all about helping women age out loud and proud. And I know how hard that is, Lori. So when I turned 66 and I was fully entrenched in the startup ecosystem, had been for years. I'm a four times founder, and I had a pitch event here in Boston for 3 years, every single month with startup founders. I kept seeing them say, "Well, explain your business as if you were telling your grandma." And I'm like, gendered ageism, give me a break.
Oh,
Every time I would jump out of my seat, because it was never grandpa, it was always grandma, like we were some feeble old person. And I had to remind people, would you knock it off with this, you techies? Because you're talking to the boomer generation here as if we were stupid and frail. And the reality is, we went from analog to digital, from typewriters to PCs, rotary phones to smartphones, from dial up to fiber optic, vinyl to streaming, punch cards to iPads. And we didn't just survive, we thrived. And we taught people how to use tech. And we've proven decade after decade that we can learn, adapt, and thrive. So, in my little rant here, I'm talking about really owning the space and the place as we age. So when I turned 66, I had a lot of bias about my age. I was afraid to tell people how old I was. I thought for sure they were going to look at me and go, yikes, you are too old. So what did I do? I grabbed this sign, US Route 66, held it in front of me on my 66th birthday, took a photo, and you can find this on LinkedIn. I have it pinned to my LinkedIn profile. And you can see in the photo that I'm looking at the world saying, like, just my eyes are like, will you still love me now that you know I'm this friggin' old? I had my own issues.
Mhm.
And what I learned from that post, because I called it Don't Be Caged by Your Age. And I talked about the ageism in tech and the gendered ageism all over industries.
Yeah.
And wow, the post went viral. And I heard a lot of painful stories. People in their 50s already being considered permafrost. People who, retired at 65 but didn't want to. They wanted to keep bringing themselves. They wanted to dive into something new. They wanted to explore, but they were going up against the world's bias, but their own indoctrinated bias that many didn't even know they had. And that's why I ended up launching the podcast, my sixth podcast since 2012. Don't be caged by your age.
Well, I love breaking rules. And what I mean by that is all of the nonsense that comes from the patriarchal setup of here's the way it's done, which has just been put together by the controlling, the toxic, not the divine masculine, and by which we have defined ourselves forever. Um, I'm a real different sort of cat, as they would have said back in the 50s, in the jazz club. I'm a different kind of cat because I always wanted to get to what I thought would be my middle age. I thought when I get there, I'm going to be so self-confident and so like I don't give an F and it's going to be great. And I'm just like everything's fantastic. Now it has taken me until now, but it's because I worked and kept my eyes on that prize, not on the prizes of, not exclusively on the prizes of like, where's the money and all that stuff. But I know that I had to come through a lot of that mental stuff you're talking about. That, oh my God, I guess I'm done. Okay, okay, they all tell us that we're invisible now. I'm not invisible. I mean, I am always making sure I'm seen. I'm talking to people. People know who the hell I am, and they're always surprised. So, let's talk about what is that thing? What is that? What makes us decide to align with that and stick to it? And what is the thing that makes us go, wait a second, it's nonsense, it's crazy, it's stupid.
We're up against so many things, Lori. So, first of all, we're up against what we saw when we were young women.
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw our grandparents, and darn it if they didn't look old, and cardigan sweaters and hunched shoulders. And then we had decades of TV showing that as what an elder looks like. We didn't have representation, very few representation of folks who were really like, okay, 65, 75, 85, what am I doing next? I got a 5-year plan, let's go. We didn't see that coupled with the constant barrage of anti-aging. Like, don't age, stop aging, stop what you're doing. You don't want to look old. You've got to do all these treatments. And if you look old, oh my God, I'm sorry. For you, we want new, not even new and improved. We want new. And then we also saw the warehousing of our elders,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
just horrific. Putting them into these nursing homes, really warehouses. And what an awful way to end a well-lived life
Right.
in, just being crammed into places and not being really taken care of. And so, you know, we're up against so many different messages that we're battling our way to get out of what our own indoctrinated messages are telling us, that once the clock strikes midnight on a milestone age, like 65 or 70, we're done with you. You no longer matter. And really, it happens much sooner. And sidebar, I always get a chuckle out of the white guys at the age of 60 that are finally running into a bias, a prejudice for who they be. They're like, wait, what? What is
Hmm.
this? Oh, yeah, welcome to our world. We've
Welcome
been
to the
having
club. Yeah.
to break down these barriers our whole life. Um, but
Well, I think there is we go into this so early because what we go into from the time that we can understand things, we go into understanding as women that we are less than, that we're supposed to be effable, we're supposed to be
mm,
cute, we're supposed to be white, there's like all these supposed tos.
right.
And then when we get to an older age where we're done with doing work, or maybe we're not done, maybe then we get to beat up on ourselves because we're too poor because of situations or what's going on in our country, and then we're like, oh no, I failed. We never come to, can you be yourself? Can you figure out what that means? Because that takes a lot of
Well, and the pressure,
curiosity.
like, okay, you've only got this 2 decade window, right, to be
Right,
successful, and that's it. And at the
right.
same time, so you got your 30s and 40s to figure it out, 50s to nail it. So, okay, maybe 30 years. But still, also, you don't wake up until you're 30. And then a
It's
lot of
then.
us, yeah, and a lot of us are having kids. So now we got to parent and do all of that and juggle. We're supposed to figure out who we are and get
Mm,
them off and run. You're like, what? That's a ridiculous expectation. And then, of course, you have the people who are really good at achieving that, or at least they look good on Instagram achieving that and Facebook. And so you're
yeah.
comparing yourself to that. And
Mhm.
then you're turning 50 and like finally you're feeling a little less shackled. Maybe your kids are off to college or at least, able to take care of themselves and get out the door. And you're starting to look around. And as a woman, we've been taking care of everybody for decades, our community, our churches, everybody.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, what now? And it's like, oh, retire to become a snowbird, and that's it. Like, I never, and you can just see the hopelessness instead of saying, okay, all right, folks, now you are in the best time of your life. Why didn't you read the book? Rewire, Don't Retire, which is going to take you through a bunch of exercises to help you decide, well, what is my passion? What is my purpose? How could I fuel my pocketbook doing those things? And start pulling on threads and making mistakes. Oh, I thought I'd want to do landscaping, but my God, I hate it. Or, I want to do something over here. I love baking. No, I can't stand it. Pull on some threads, volunteer, do all the things. Get out there and just try and experiment and find out. Nobody's talking about that. They're like, go, bye, see ya, let's. And it's ridiculous. And I see it, of course, in the corporate world. And any of the listeners are like, yes, but I'd like to get hired. Well, let me tell you, you tell whoever is thinking about you as an application, somebody they might want to onboard, you tell them your wisdom, your experience of already going through very difficult times in the 70s, 80s, 90s, OOs has left you seasoned and unflappable. And that combining you with someone from a younger generation is going to create a rocket fuel for that company. Because the 30s and 40-year-olds, they may have some great energy and some sparkly innovation going on, but they are going to be tripping over their feet while they figure things out that you already figured out. And they may be pulling on their hair and wringing their hands because they haven't been through such a difficult down market that they don't know how to bring on new clients. They don't know how to keep everybody calm, cool, and collected within the organization. We are needed. So if you're looking to get on payroll somewhere, bring that energy to the table, that confidence. And perfect example, my husband just turned 74 and he got picked up by a great company that's soaring. And it's because of his wisdom in his industry. What he knows is already saving this company, already adding tremendous value in just the first 3 weeks. And so that's the mentality I want to see those of us 65 plus going in. If you want to keep working, and based on the stats, 70% of folks in their mid
Yeah.
60s want to keep working. Now, you can also position yourself in a way that it's a 25 or 30-hour week for you. Because again,
It's
they're
called
tapping into,
consulting.
right, they're tapping into your wisdom that you already know, your lived experiences, and that's very valuable. and it will
Right.
save them so much money. So don't think that you have to do the capitalist hustle of 60-hour weeks unless you love doing that. But there's ways to work around that. And especially since COVID, everybody's learned how to work from home. So you'll know how to manage your time. And as I used to say back in the day, my God, I could get done in 5 hours what some people are sitting at their desks taking, stretching out to get done
Every
in eight
single
and a half,
time.
9 hours.
Every single time. Yep. And I love what you're saying, and I want to go even deeper with it. So, it is, know your worth, be confident, but a lot of women are not. A lot of women have spent their whole lives following the rules, never looking at themselves in terms of, oh gosh, I really have it's such incredible value. I mean, it's very frustrating for me. So we do a lot of competing, or not competing, but going up against the people that we think are going to be ageist or who are ageist with us. But it starts here. There's never been a room that I've walked into where I didn't walk out knowing that I made an impact, and that if they decided they absolutely had to stick with ageism, which has happened, I think, honest to God, just once, that I was fine with it because I'm like, it's your loss, baby. I mean, I have so my I don't have a resume anymore because I have so many skills. There's no way.
Well, as Gen Z will tell you, at least my kids, I have a older Gen Z and a young millennial. Mom, it's not the resume, it's your portfolio. What have you built? What have
Oh,
you
that's
done?
so good.
Isn't
Oh,
that great? He used to give me such a hard time. Honey, where's your resume? He goes, Mom, please. Yeah. That's so
that
80s.
is amazing. Oh my God, that is groundbreaking to my head.
Yay.
So how does somebody who's 65 or over present a portfolio? And by the way, that has got to come from that opportunity to do so has got to come from meeting one on one with people. You can't do that through the
Right.
internet. That's not
And
happening. But how do
eh,
you do that?
well, first of all, who is better and most comfortable with picking up a phone and calling somebody?
We are.
Who, right. Who is most comfortable showing up in person going, hey, you got to suit up to show up, as we used to say in the early 90s, in order to, that's where the magic happens. And so you start going to networking events, you start going where the younger crowd is hanging out. And again, don't be afraid to be the oldest person in the room because trust me, they will find you fascinating.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Oh, that's
And
so good to hear.
oh yeah, I mean, I would look at some of these startup founders and I go, look, I have shoes that could be your grandmother. That's how old I am. But they're like, no, you're the most fascinating person in the room. I go, okay.
You go,
But
well, yes, I am. Hmm.
yes, thank you. But it really is just getting yourself out there. Get on meetup.com, get on Eventbrite, find out where any kind of event that might be of interest to you. I don't care if people getting together to do jigsaw puzzles. Go see what the gamers are up to. There's always gamers meeting. There's
Oh,
always
yeah.
people meeting about something they're interested in. Those two websites will help you find things that are local. Then you can dip your toe in and get a little more comfortable. Even the introvert in you can find a way to be an observer in these rooms. But boomers really know how to truly network and be out there physically and not just trying to battle the algorithms. Also, I interviewed a terrific gal, Sandra Allison. Find her on LinkedIn. She helps our age group put together bios, resumes, etc., that game the system and break
Yes.
through. She's 72, maybe she's 73 now. She was a gamer back in the late 70s and early 80s when they used punch cards and mainframes. This woman, her leisure, and this is my bias. So I'm in the interview with her, Lori, and she goes, I'm a gamer. I go, and I'm thinking, what, bingo?
Wow.
No, she goes, no, I love blowing up zombies for leisure. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so bad. Um, but anyway, but because she got bumped out of a really great tech job in her 50s, she said, I'm not going to let other people go through this. And so she took all these classes to really understand she really helps people get board positions, which is wonderful. You take all those
Ooh.
decades of lived experiences and get on a board. That's great because they do pay you for that.
I gotta talk to her.
Yeah, but also, how to and how to get past that algorithm that they use to scrape your resume. She knows how to get past it, gamify it, as she calls it. And so there are people out there that can help you do that. Um,
Right.
and I know I was making a point. I think it's I know confidence is what you're really helping so many women have. It's finding out the transferable traits that you have. I don't care if you were the lunch lady serving up or taking the,
Nope.
whatever at school. That is a hugely transferable skill. But you got to find out what that is and do that inner work so that you can land in that place. Because when you show up with that confidence of your ability to problem solve, your
Right.
ability to help a team grow, your ability to master everything around you,
Right.
then that's when you are hireable. And the same thing goes if you're launching a business, it's the same thing. It makes you have products and services that customers will want to buy. That, of course, is providing that you're solving a problem for your customers that they want to pay for.
Oh, I don't even, I'm just like sitting here basking in your words, actually.
Well,
Uh,
Lori, let
yeah,
me tell this story for your listeners. So,
please.
when 2024 rolled around, I wanted to build local community. I'd been online since 2010 and I just about had it. I wanted to look people in the eyes. I wanted to hug them in real life. And I knew that meant I'd have to build up locally. And I thought, well, how am I going to do that? I live in Boston area, but New England does have a challenge in that a lot of times because of the centuries long isolation into groups, Italian, Irish, all of that, people get sort of locked in. I've got my family and friends, I'm fine. It's completely different in the Midwest, the South, the West. I've lived all over the US. I can talk with complete authority about this. So I knew in Boston that might be an extra challenge.
Mm.
But I also knew from having been a podcaster since 2012 that I loved podcasters. They were often quirky. They were
Yeah.
often doing something that was passionate that they were could possibly be interested in, and they loved it. Whether it was talking about paranormal, true crime, knitting, sustainable steps, all this stuff. And I thought, well, why don't I launch a monthly meetup for podcasters? And I knew I didn't want to just keep it in my state, Massachusetts. I wanted it to be regional. So I said, let's make it the New England Podcasters Group. And I wanted that intergenerational experience. I didn't want to just hang out with people my age. I wanted to be with all the ages. And so I took those steps. Yes, I'm comfortable with launching something new. It's just part of who I am. I've had a lot of experience at it and not always good experiences. But I thought, well, let me see if there's an appetite for this. And so I did a quick Zoom call I pulled in a few people and asked a few other people to bring a few people. And 13 people showed up. And one of the people there said, hey, have I got a great facility for us to meet at? It's called Westford Cable Access TV. They have a state-of-the-art TV studio and podcast studio.
Oh
Come
my
on
God.
over and take a look at it. So we went over, I looked at it, I went, oh my God, parking right off the major highway. So if you're coming in from all the states, it's easy to get to. And it has a state-of-the-art podcast studio. Come on. And so, boom, we found our place to meet. And I put it out. I did an Eventbrite and I put it out and shared it on social media. And I made sure that I had a quote featured speaker. I had a woman I know, Angel B. Hartwell, who I knew would give us a little scoop on podcasting that day. And then my friend Lou Bortone, I knew would be there. So, okay, three of us will be there. I don't have to worry because it can be very frightening to hold an event and have no one show up. So
Oh yeah.
don't think I didn't have a little pit in my stomach worried about that. But I shored myself up with at least two other people there. And we ended up having, I don't know, 13, 15 people show up.
Mm.
And 17 months later, meeting every month, we have a glowing, growing, vibrant community that regularly shows up for the monthly meetup. I had got a food sponsor in the second month. It was crazy. One of our members was a website gal. She said, let me build a, do you mind if I build a website for us? Thank you. Knock yourself out. That's, you don't have to have all the parts and pieces figured out. You can set up a
Yeah.
community and let people glow and flow within it. Now we have a paid membership because you got to stay sustainable. In order to have longevity, you have to have financial stability. And then I built a community online using the circle.so platform. So now we have a place that sort of houses all our incredible deals that we have and conversations and community. But we still meet every month to look each other in the eyes and hug. And we get new people all the time. And some people can make it once a year, twice a year, once a quarter,
Well,
monthly.
let's talk about how what it is that women are breaking through to doing, because we know of women. Cher is a very good example. Cher may never die. Um, Dame Judy Dench. I can't think of the other woman who's so freaking fabulous.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren is who I was thinking. Yes, I got to audition to be in a movie with her once, and then I was even called back, but I didn't get it. Oh, the
Uh,
heartbreak. Um,
Jamie Lee Curtis. They are
Jamie Lee
all pro
Curtis.
aging.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let's get into the actual living of this message, because the living of the message, you come up against the all of the what do you call grooves in your mind. Was that you who said that to me? What's the grooves in your head that say you don't have enough time? That was a big one for me. You don't have enough time.
Right.
Um, and or you're just too old, or nobody will care. All these different things. Now, mine, like I said, was you don't have enough time. And so I was like, hurry, hurry, hurry. And I'm like, there goes the joy, no joy.
Right.
And so I tapped into it's really all about the quality of life. It's not about getting to the goal, it's the quality of life first.
Right.
Don't you
And
find?
oh, absolutely. And that time constraint. Oh, it's just awful. I'm having a guy in the show, Don Atkin, I think is his last name, but he's just written a book called The After Work. And it's not just what do you want to do, what kind of relationships do you want to have, right? And you could live another 20, 30 years after the age of 60, 65. What are you going to do with that
Or
period
even
of
more,
time?
because the biggest growing group is the centenarians.
I know. I
And the
know.
more joyous you are, the longer your life is. If you go, oh God, it's 60, I'm 65, I don't know what I want to do. I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm going to watch TV. You're done.
You're done. You're going to have a health issue before you know it. And boom, you're going to go down the tubes. And this is why it's so important to have someone like you, Lori, helping folks explore what does that look like.
Nice.
And listen, I run into these great gals at my local grocery store, Market Basket. They're having a blast. They're well into their 80s. And
Hmm.
bagging, cash register, but they don't care because they're having conversation, having community. They get a little, and Market Basket has always paid their employees really well. And so they're getting the money they need and want, and they're getting the social, and they maybe 20 hours a week. And that's just so, and they get dolled up. I go, oh my God, the hair, the makeup, the rings, you guys, come on, you're showing off now. And they
Yeah,
just look wonderful and they're happy. So don't judge what makes you happy and where you find community. It could be at the local bakery. It could be anywhere. You could be pumping gas. Who cares? So don't judge yourself by, I'm not doing something fancy. Do it by because you want to hang out with those people. You want to
right,
interact. If you're an introvert, then there'll be other ways for you to find vocation that really makes your heart sing and again fuels your passion, purpose, and your pocketbook. But also, you might want to volunteer at the animal shelter. You might want to volunteer
right.
at the rape center, wherever you may feel called to. maybe you have some healing of your own where working at certain places would help you further that healing along. Maybe you can help out in the mental health industry. You just don't. I'm just throwing all of these ideas out
Yeah.
because that's why I love the book, Don't Retire, Rewire. The questions that Jerry Sedler takes you through are so important to help you identify what is it going to be. And I think that we see the representation of these actors or Cher, who is the first to talk about all the different lives she's had, my gosh, and how everything
Right.
went down the hill, down the tubes for her for a while there when she became a cable spokesperson for some product company. And she brought it all back. And when she was dancing at, I think it was SNL's 50th anniversary, she did one of her songs, If You Believe, or something. I can't remember which one it was, but she looked great, sounded great. And I
Oh,
just remember the look on Kevin Costner's face. He was looking at her. I have the video, everybody. Just go over to either my TikTok feed or my YouTube feed for Don't Be Caged by Your Age Shorts. And she's in there. But just the awe, because come on, that is the confidence. And also Helen Mirren, I have a few of her clips too.
yeah.
She's the first to stop people with the patronizing. So what can
Hmm.
happen? My husband used this on me just the other day. He said, "Okay, young lady." I go, "You know how I feel about that. I am
Tell
not a
us how
young
you
lady."
feel about that.
Well, one of my favorite stories, I was out to dinner with a bunch of folks, and a well-meaning man he was going around the room and, "What are you up to?" And everybody's sort of, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." And so then he looks at my friend Julie and says, "Okay, young lady, what are you up to?" And I go, "Ooh, teachable moment. Yay." I said, "John, I know you mean well, and you think that's a compliment, but it's actually patronizing. Julie is 55 years old. She's a queen, she's a goddess, she's Julie, but she's not a young lady. And she earns,
Love it.
deserves the designation of being her age, not young lady as a 20-year-old who's, we all know you're still figuring out you're a mess in your 20s, let's face it,
Let's
unless you're
be
an
honest.
soul. Yeah. um, so this it's an insult. It's patronizing. And also saying to someone, and Helen really does this well, don't tell me I'm youthful. You can tell me I'm lifeful,
Ooh,
right? I
yes.
have decades of lived experience. I am full of life, but don't put me into that patronizing category of youth.
Right. As
So,
if that were something to live up to, when in fact it's a living down to. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, got the information from it, and moved the hell forward.
right. Added the jewels in my tiara.
Yep. And I keep them shined because I'm not going to continue to be 25. That's not
Right,
happening.
right.
That is not. Do you get any pushback? Do you find that people around you are getting get pushback, and how do you deal with?
What kind?
I saw one way you just did was like saying, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, teachable
Other,
moment.
yeah.
I try to frame it up with some compassion, or say before I hit them upside the head with my smartphone.
Oh my
Um,
God. I know. I
and
know. I have the
so
same
but
issue.
it's the language that we have learned. And of course, the not sharing your age. Nobody can come on my podcast on this. They're ready to age out loud and proud. And even the actors, sorry.
Yeah.
If you can't, that's okay. I'll take a pass, no problem. It's important that we do the representation, what this looks like. So others coming up, the way, I mean, so, Lori, the feedback I get from the 40 and 50-year-old women and men looking at what we're doing, seeing how we're moving and navigating through this age and stage of life,
Right.
hearing our stories, they are more excited than ever. Oh, you mean I don't have to figure it out right now? Like I'm still
You
building my
know,
foundation and I'm still having experiences that I can then bring to the world in my 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm like, yes, you got it. And they're like, oh my God, it's liberating.
it is. And I think one of the things that's really been helpful for me actually has been anger. Like getting frustrated and angry, not with myself, but with that behavior, that assumption, that attitude that I'm holding, and just going, nope, Nope, we're done.
I just was looking up Shakti Gawain. She wrote that wonderful book. Um, what was that great book that she wrote back in the day? It's one of the best New Age books out there, and I'm
No,
trying to look
I'm
it up.
afraid I can't help you. I was trying to think of somebody else that I knew whose name I cannot recall, who I saw on a PBS show decades ago. And
Yeah.
she's passed since, but she was all about when your body tells you in your 40s or early 50s that it wants another baby, tell it to shut up
Oh my
because it's
God.
trying to
Yes.
rein you back
That's right.
into service. And it's a
Well, Shakti Gawain's book was the
yeah,
one I'm talking about was called Creative Visualization.
all
And
right.
Shakti is Shakti Gawain, Gawain. And it's use the power of your imagination to create what you want in your life. But she talks about, I believe in that one, about how important anger is and how it can really fuel us.
Yeah,
And
use it for determination and you're cooking with gas.
that's right. And that the path of
Mhm.
consciousness is never ending and
Right.
always an adventure until your last breath. So,
And the lady whose name I can't remember was in a room full of people, and she was saying, "There's always something that you can go and do." And so she's like, "Tell me what it is that you raise your hand if you think I can't do anything different." And so she had all these hands went up. And I remember one woman who was like, "Well, I really wanted to be a veterinarian, but now I'm like, whatever she was, 60, 70, whatever it was." And so this woman said, "Do you love animals?" She's like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, can't you go and like volunteer at the zoo? Can't you go take classes?
right,
Can't you why can't you be a veterinarian?" It was so beautiful to watch that of the
right,
consciousness, right?
right. And the brain can handle it.
Oh
All
yeah.
the science out there, your brain can handle it. And if anytime you're
Yeah.
feeling like your brain feels a little scrambled, first of all, I had my children late in life. I can tell you the 20-year-olds walk into a room, they can't remember why, they can't remember words, they can't all the things. A and B, it was described to me that our brain at this age and stage is like the Library of Congress. Younger brains is like going into the local bookstore. Us, so when we can't find a word, we're deep into the shelves. Where is that? Because we have packed in so much information. And of course, you know what it's like, hours later, or a few days later, it's like, oh, yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
That's why I use AI. What is the
Yay.
word that means? Oh,
Right.
thanks, bud. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Well, and I always say to people, oh, gosh, will you refresh my browser? I know I'm having a hard time recalling your name. I apologize, because we refresh our browsers all the time. And my browser brain needs a little refreshing. Oh, right, Sally, nice to meet you again.
Right. Well, do you remember being in your, I don't know, 20s, 30s, 40s and pushing so dang hard and wanting to be the most amazing multitasker ever. And so you'd be working your brain really hard to remember everything. Why am I so tired?
Right.
Really?
Exactly. And I remember the days when I could just remember and then I would write down one word and that would easily jog my memory. And then I realized, no, that I have to do complete sentences now. I can't.
Right. But you know what I've learned to embrace that is really fun is the I don't care.
Yes. Doesn't matter.
It
Oh,
really, because
I,
people never liked me because of how I looked, how I dressed, whether I had enough money. That's not why anybody ever liked or loved me.
oh God, yeah. And do you know about the I Don't Care Club on Instagram?
Yeah,
Because she's really funny. It's Melanie Sanders. And gosh, is she funny. It's the We Do Not Care Club. And
yeah.
her handle is at just being Milani, I think it'd be Melani. And gosh, she can make me laugh so hard. And I think that's what happens when we age. We lose all our zero, we have zero F's to give
Yeah.
over a lot of things. And our tolerance for
Well, I think we can, but you know what saddens me are the older people who haven't figured out how to do that. So
I
I
know.
hope
But
that as they hear your words, they go,
yeah.
"Oh,
Well, and self-awareness. we really would prefer someone to give us a pill or tell us what to do. So many of us. And so that's never going to work. Just like you got to go to the gym or lift weights if you want to build some muscle, you got to do the walk in order to build the balance in your life, in your body. You have to do the work on yourself. And that's why it's always great to take your last few pennies if you have to and hire someone like Lori to help you explore and find those kernels of confidence and help pull out of you what you know to be true about yourself. You just haven't had someone hold up a mirror to you.
So gorgeous. Now, what is next in the pipeline for you? And also, I would be remiss in ignoring that you also have a partner in crime here, which is your husband.
Yeah.
He's very
We're
supportive of what you do.
always has been. It's my second, where it's a second marriage for both of us. We're retreads. But yeah, we're about to celebrate our 40th first date. And it was
Oh,
monumental because within 3 months we were engaged. And then, yeah, we had to set a date to set the date for it took us a while to get married, but we didn't care. We'd met each other and we were committed. But we just love our first date and we love how we met. And I always say to folks, we've lost businesses and babies, all our money and all our hormones, but we never lost each other.
oh,
But it's because we did the work. And we both were willing to evolve and grow and make our relationship the center in the middle between us, right? We still keep our individuality. And of course, our children were always the pillars. So,
beautiful. Oh, God, fantastic. How can people work with you? What kinds of, what are you offering to people to help them step into their
oh my
magnificence after
gosh,
65?
tune in into the Don't Be Caged by Your Age podcast. It is the people I get to spend time with, like you, Lori. Episode 71 is dropping on September 24th. So, talking to people like you and having that representation can really help you. Plus, there's resources that are phenomenal on my website, don'tbecagedbyyourage.com. And follow me and connect with me on LinkedIn because I'm always posting interesting things. And certainly hop into my YouTube channel and follow my Don't Be Caged by Your Age shorts. Ande Lyons is where you can find me everywhere. Those are very inspirational little videos I have that are, oh my gosh, even the comments are so magical and uplifting. I just had in the last 28 days on my shorts over 4 million views, 10,000 new subscribers,
Oh,
65,000 watch hours because curate really good things off Instagram and then I put them up onto YouTube where you get a much larger viewing. And I just love reading the comments because it's like, oh, this is so feel good, or look at her dance. And it just really provides representation of folks doing remarkable things. And one woman, this one got over 2 million views. She may be well known to people in New York City, Liz Freeman, jewelry designer. But she told the story of going when she was 25 to some cardiology event in upstate Vermont. And the
mhm.
cardiologist told her, and we all thought he was going to say, stop smoking. He says, you want to live a long life? Don't go easy, go hard. And she tells this story in her late 70s, I think. And she's just like, go hard, take the risks, don't stop, keep exploring. The world needs you. Also, if you want to launch a podcast, come check out the New England Podcasters Group. We're rooted in New England, but we're open to all. You can come join our online community, and we have helped many folks launch a podcast, and it's one of the best things I think anybody over 65 can do because look at us, we're having this great conversation, right? And we have a microphone. That's the biggest expense you have. You have Pod Page for your website, which is like what, 15 bucks, 18 bucks a month. You've got Riverside for 25 bucks a month and you're done. And then you have to pay something like Buzzsprout to host. So, for $50 a month, you're able to talk to people from all over the world. What a better way to stay connected, right? It's just so wonderful.
God, and that is so big for us. The world has expanded and we can jump onto that expansiveness. I
That's
want to
right.
thank you so much, Andy. This is brilliant, and I can't wait to share it in entirety and also in pieces to get more people. Don't forget to look her up on TikTok as well, because
Thank
her
you.
TikTok stuff is incredible. Just really appreciate you and the work you're
Oh,
doing because it's enough now. It's enough. It's time to come out and play.
that's right. Don't be caged by your age. Age out loud and proud, and don't be afraid to be the oldest person in the room. Thank you
Here's our
so much,
mic
Lori.
drop. You're
Thank you
very
so much,
welcome,
Lori, for
Andy.
having me. So thrilled.
My great pleasure. And everybody, don't forget to reach out to her if you're feeling a little stuck as you get into the older ages, the more wise, wonderful age. And subscribe to my channel, and that will please all of the gods of YouTube and everywhere else. So thanks for being here. We'll see you another time. Bye now. All right, let's